This lady lost her first baby and she would have lost her second if not for Da Vinci. But who or what is Da Vinci? Find out on The 5 Show.
I got a court with professional tennis player Sarah Pang. And we certainly won't be seeing eye to eye because we'll be playing blind tennis.
And a 5 Show exclusive with former tennis world #1, Lleyton Hewitt. Hi, welcome to The 5 Show. I'm Yasmin.
And I'm Enlai. Thanks for being with us this Wednesday night.
Now, the Women's Gynecological Cancer Awareness Campaign is being held between this May and July.
Cancers of the womb, ovaries and cervix are among the top 10 cancers diagnosed in women in Singapore.
Now, if detected early, these cancers can be treated. So ladies, please do yourselves a favor. Go to this website for details on free pap smear screening.
Absolutely. One of the treatment options for gynecological cancer is a robotic-assisted operation using the Da Vinci surgery system.
Now, this cutting-edge machine can also be used for other medical conditions. We meet Junior, who lost her first baby and nearly lost her second, if not for the Da Vinci.
With my first pregnancy, I went into labor at 24 weeks. I was induced and the baby was delivered about 12 hours later. It was declared a miscarriage. The baby did not survive. After the loss of the baby, I was still very hopeful that I would have another one quite quickly after. And then it was maybe a year later when I was still continuing to have problems conceiving and not quite recovering yet. Then I came to terms with the fact that maybe I just wouldn't have children.
The cavity of Junior's womb was badly scarred, and the doctor did a surgical procedure on her to clear the scars.
What I understand is that the robot hands actually went through the stomach. I had 3 holes in the stomach. It wasn't painless, but I think if it was more invasive, it would have been a lot more painful. It was bearable.
Junior thought her condition had destroyed any chances of her ever conceiving again, something she was upfront about with her second husband before they got married.
At that point, I had already come to terms with the fact that I wouldn't have children. So that was something that we had talked about in the beginning, and he was okay with that. So then when I fell pregnant, it was a big surprise to both of us.
It was a miracle to be sure, but Junior encountered another complication with this second pregnancy that also required robotic-assisted surgery.
So when I was 20 weeks pregnant, my cervix started to open up a little bit, and we decided to put in a cervical cerclage. And I'm under the impression that 20 weeks is pretty late to have this kind of procedure done. It's usually done before you're pregnant or within the first trimester, so it was very risky. They would go robotically through the stomach, around the baby, to then stitch the top of the cervix. There's a lot of blood vessels around the area, so they had to go around the blood vessels. I don't think they would have been able to do that if it wasn't done robotically. If they hit a blood vessel and the bleeding didn't stop, then I think they would have had to remove the baby and possibly the uterus as well. That would mean I definitely wouldn't be able to have any of my own children. It ended up being okay, and the rest of the pregnancy was smooth after that. And it was successful, so it worked. I was very afraid of how painful it would be when I woke up, but at the same time we felt like we had to go ahead and do it, and it was our safest option at that point to continue on with the pregnancy and have the cervical cerclage put in.
So cute. Lucky baby and lucky mommy and daddy.
Yeah. Now, you know, we are also lucky because we have the doctor who performed Junior's 2 operations with us in the studio. Please welcome Dr. Suresh Nair. Hello, Dr. Nair. So, was Junior the first case that you've done for or the Da Vinci?
Well, we used to do it open surgery and laparoscopically, and the robotic approach this is the first time we're doing that. And one of the big advantages of the robotic approach is we can get around corners because if you had to do this surgery, generally we have to make a big incision. It's a lot more painful, a lot more bleeding. We used to do this laparoscopically, but it's quite challenging. For example, if I were to use, this is something you do when you're doing laparoscopic instruments.
Okay, but hang on. So first of all, just going back a little bit to establish it all, Junior's cervical circlage surgery was very complicated.
Yes,
Why
yes.
was it complicated first?
Well, in the first instance, generally we do this vaginally. But in Junior's case, unfortunately, because of previous surgery to remove a precancerous problem in the cervix was almost gone. So we had to go from the abdomen.
Okay.
And as I mentioned earlier, you either do it open surgery, a lot more pain and bleeding, or you do it laparoscopically, as we've been doing for some years now.
Okay. Maybe you
And
can
when
show
we
it to
do
us.
this laparoscopically, these instruments are straight. They can't bend round corners. So I've got to go around this way to apply this suture inside. But with the robotic method, you can see that the instruments are curved, and I can curve round and move these instruments as if I have a miniaturized human hand inside. It's very dexterous. It's finger-like movements rather than big movements. And you can do fine surgery and surgery in tight corners and quite readily put the
Okay, so we've got a
stitch
video
around.
of the Da Vinci surgery. Could you tell us more about
In this
what's going on?
video, you can see that we are putting in an endoscope which has two lenses that gives us 3D imaging. In laparoscopy, it's 2D imaging. And when we use these instruments that are now being introduced, these are the instruments I told you as before. They can go around the corners, and they are very accurate and precise. The surgeon can use his fingers to, through manipulators, to move these instruments. And this is my foot control. I can control the camera, and you can see I'm using fine movements. There's a lot of finesse, a lot more finesse, and this is a requisite for this kind of surgery, finger-like movements. And when you do suturing, for fine suturing, you see the suture being placed very accurately, very gently through tissues. This is a sponge that we are demonstrating on, and I can apply sutures vertically, very precisely, by using my finger movements quite easily.
Wow.
Yes.
That is amazing. You
I
must
know,
be really
right?
good at video games, Dr. Nair.
Well, I enjoy video games.
Well, are there any sort of gynecological situations where you can use this
Yes,
Da
there
Vinci
are a
robot
growing
thing?
number of surgeries that we can do. And in keeping with the Cervical Cancer Week, we can remove cervical cancer in women using small incision, using the Da Vinci that can go around corners and very precisely remove the tumor. And in myomectomies, fibroids that affect fertility, they grow in the uterus, distort the uterus, we can take it and we can stitch the uterus back very accurately, strong enough to carry a baby. And after having many babies, sometimes women have a prolapse, we can stitch up the uterus back to where it was before birth by using the Da Vinci. And in some women, for example, they've completed their family and they want to have babies, they had a sterilization where they divided the tube. The tube is a very tiny organ, very precise. It's only 1 millimeter, and we can
Wow.
use the Da Vinci. It has a very precision constructed instrument that allows our big hand movements to be translated into very tiny movements to put sutures through 1 millimeter sort of tube length. And we can use very fine sutures, as thin as the human hair, to bring this back together, and she can have a baby again.
So this is the answer for the future, the Da Vinci.
Well, increasingly it is, increasingly.
Awesome,
And we are beginning to, in fact, gynecology is the biggest growth area in Da Vinci robotic surgery in the world now.
Well, thank you so much,
You're
Dr.
most
Nair, for
welcome,
joining us
most
and telling
welcome.
all about
Thank
the Da Vinci.
In a bit, we find out how the visually impaired can now play a game of tennis.
Plus, a 5-show exclusive with former tennis world #1 Leighton Hewitt.
Meanwhile, it's over to Atelli for tonight's news headlines. Atelli?
Hey guys, well, coming up on News 5, building iconic landmarks like this one from scratch. Free Lego sets handed to over 500,000 people here, and among those receiving these uniquely Singapore gifts are the very students who have put Singapore on the world map for being the best in the biggest global school rankings. And of course, I'm going to share more at 9. See you then.
Welcome back to the 5 Show.
Now, for most of us, playing tennis requires hand-eye coordination.
But for this next bunch of players, tennis requires hand-ear coordination.
Welcome to the world of soundball, or tennis for the blind.
Tennis is all about hand-eye coordination, and I thought if you take away the eye part of it, how can you play tennis?
There are a lot of things that we tend to take for granted. For example, my sight,
They've never seen, a Roger Federer swinging the racket.
Playing soundball tennis, you will definitely face lots and lots of challenges because it's all about hearing, right?
The first few weeks they were really enthusiastic because it's a new sport and everything.
When I first started, I was like, whoa, it was fun,
The only problem I face is actually the height of the ball and not the direction. The ball is bouncing, the timing must be right, the racket must be at the correct position to strike it.
We need to sharpen our listening.
It needs lots and lots of training and lots of effort.
For tennis, when I coach personally, I'll be like, okay, you can watch me, watch and learn. But right now it's really challenging because we have to explain to them in words.
Week after week, you are not able to hit the ball. It's quite frustrating actually.
When you don't hit the ball, when you don't listen to the ball, they lose interest.
Taking a racket to hit a ball and so accurately, it's not easy.
Confidence, to just believe in ourselves that we are able to do it.
Whatever we do, there is always the hurdle to get through.
I just wanted to know if I could do it.
As time goes by, the hitting of the ball started to increase.
Without the help of the volunteers every week, coming to coach us, we wouldn't get a chance to play tennis at all.
What drives me is being able to share the love of the game to the visually impaired.
Being here is not just about playing tennis, it's also so much more.
Okay, I can't volunteer to be a tennis coach, but I think I will be a ball person. I'll pick up all the balls.
I think you'd be a good one.
Yeah.
Now, I think it looks like fun, but I bet it wasn't easy. Now, if you want to find out more about Soundball, go to their Facebook page at facebook.com/soundballsingapore. The address is there.
Well, in a while, I'm going to have a go at playing soundball in our special 5-show tennis court, so I'll let you know how easy or how difficult it is.
Now, I would join you, but it's kind of hard in my heels, so
What?
that's my perennial excuse.
Hey, not fair.
Anyway, in the meantime, check out this 5-show exclusive with former tennis world #1, Leighton Hewitt.
Welcome to the 5 Show. We're delighted to have you with us. Now, you've just watched a bit of Soundball. Tell us what you think.
Well, amazing. It's the first time I've actually seen it, and obviously, tennis is a tough sport at any stage of anyone's career, but obviously to do it without sight and just relying on the sound of a ball and to have contact was pretty amazing what those guys were doing. And obviously the volunteers that go out of their way to help these people go out there and actually enjoy it. And I think it's a fantastic thing for our sport as well of tennis, that we're going across a different path as well. And expanding to different people. And obviously people still with disabilities as well are able to enjoy our great sport.
What are some of the challenges you faced in your career?
Yeah, there's lots of challenges, I guess. Just being put in the spotlight from a young age and being able to deal with the media side of it and being in the public. And obviously you have to learn to adapt with that as you grow. And you obviously get a lot more mature over the years and learn from your experiences as well.
Speaking of learning from experiences, if you could go back in time, is there anything you would do differently?
Not really. For me, I've always given 100%, and that's been so important for me. Obviously, there's matches here and there where you would like to play different shots at different times on big points. But at the end of the day, as long as you can look yourself in the mirror and know that you've gone out there and absolutely laid it all on the line, then you have no regrets. And that's one great thing. I feel like every time I've stepped onto the tennis court, either practice or matches, I've gone out there with that attitude and that never say die attitude. And so many times it's won me a lot of big matches as well.
Now, tennis, unfortunately, isn't very big in Asia yet. How do you think that can be changed?
Well, the biggest thing is by guys like Kei Nishikori, obviously, dominating the game and raising the awareness. And I think, tennis is quite an expensive sport as well to start up. So that can, cause some issues, I guess, for families. But, if they have guys like Nishikori or Li Na in the women's side to look up to, and then they can, have idols of their own and they don't have to look outside, the Asian continent.
What words of advice would you give to young people who obviously want to follow in your footsteps?
I guess the biggest thing was to follow your dreams. And, for me, I believed in my ability as well. And, it's very easy to go out there and get overawed against the bigger named players at the time when you're a junior on the way up. But as well, just go out there and give 100% and compete all the time. And, I was very mentally tough, but I believed in myself and what I could do out in the court. And obviously, still I had to pinch myself though that I was, able to be world #1. And at the time, you take it for granted a little bit. You don't realise how big an achievement it is until probably later on.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Leighton, for being on the show.
Thank you.
So Leighton talks about how our young tennis players need to have an Asian and local role model to inspire them. Well, there is one such person who can be such a local role model, and we'll get to meet her in a while.
Plus, she and I are going to try out blind tennis on our 5-show tennis court. We're standing on it right now. How's that going to turn out? Oh, stay tuned to find out.
Good luck.
I'm all dressed up.
Our boogie woogie. You look quite good, actually.
Welcome back to the 5 Show.
Now with us is Singaporean lady who recently became a professional tennis player at the age of 30.
She'll be sharing with us about the guts, courage, and determination it took for her to get to where she is today. Please welcome Sarah Pang.
Hello, Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
Great to be here.
You started when you were 19.
Yeah.
No family and financial support. You had 2 loans, 3 jobs, right?
I did.
While training at the same time, and
Wow.
11 years later, you finally turned pro.
Yeah.
Why did you do all this to yourself?
Yeah. That's a question a lot of people ask me. Well, I think a lot of things, there are not many things in life that you feel that you were made to do. And for me, it was always about playing professional sport and wanting a chance to do that. So it took a long time to get here, but last year I decided, you know what, if it's now or never, I have to do it. I don't want to be 80 on my rocking chair regretting it. So yeah, hence the leap of faith.
No guts, no glory.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you're starting out at 30, where a lot of professional athletes are winding down their careers, like Leighton Hewitt is finishing.
He's going to
his
retire at 34.
Yeah, so don't you think your professional career might be shortened quite a bit?
Well, that is a common concern, but I think with the level of sports science we have today, a lot of people don't realize we can push athletes into their 40s. We have women on the professional tour, and also men who are 39, 40, 41, 42, and they're still really killing it.
I have hope.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just stoked and so grateful for the opportunity to be doing this.
So what's next for you?
Well, the goal for this year is to break onto the WTA rankings. That's my immediate goal.
Wow.
And come July actually, I'm going to start my crowdsourcing campaign to make that work.
Okay, we're behind you all the way.
Good luck. But meanwhile, I was really inspired by the video on blind tennis, right? And Sarah's story as well. So I'm ready to take the professional on.
Are you sure?
I am absolutely sure.
But I don't want to see you getting humiliated on national TV.
It's okay, I'm used to it. I think the odds are actually even because Sarah and I both haven't played blind tennis before. Sarah, you ready?
Yep.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay, here you go.
I don't know who I should support.
Sorry.
I'll support both of you equally. Now we're gonna get Kenneth, the co-founder of Soundball Singapore, and I'm gonna bring him on. Come on, Kenneth. Come on, Coach Kenneth, and he'll seed the tennis balls to you. You've got 30 seconds. Okay, don't cheat. Blindfold on.
Yes, I'm going to make sure it's on properly.
I'll be the
it is.
timekeeper. And Enlai, since you're the amateur, even if you get half of Sarah's score, you win.
Okay, sure. I like that.
Okay.
That suits me fine. Okay, so 30 seconds. Sarah, let's see how many balls you can hit.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, wait. Time starts now.
All right, ready, coming. All right.
Not bad, that's one.
All right, ready, coming.
Rigged. I missed.
All right, ready, coming.
Two.
Nice,
Wow,
not
over the net, two.
All right, ready, coming.
Okay.
Three.
Okay, that's just too good.
Okay, she's really
number
good.
seven.
All right, ready,
I
coming.
am.
There you go.
Four.
Oh,
Hey.
all right. Ready, coming.
5. And it's 30 seconds.
Hey, that ball hit me. So let's take that away. I think it was
No,
only
it's
4.
5 points. Okay,
That ball
Tuan
actually
Lai,
hit me, Sarah.
put your
It's okay.
blindfold on.
Oh no.
Okay.
Okay, so Enlai, you said that you're going to volunteer with the Soundball people. Now, what happens if you lose?
Okay, what happens if I lose? What I will do is I will volunteer and I will also bring treats
Okay.
to them.
Okay. I hope you lose.
Hey, for them I should lose.
Okay, so let's play ball and your time starts now.
All right, ready, coming.
Not bad.
Not bad. All right, ready, coming.
Not bad too.
All right, okay, careful, careful.
Talk
Right,
and
all right.
distracted.
Oh, hang on, which side are we?
Okay,
Where are you guys?
Okay, I'm here. All right,
Correct.
you
Yeah,
got me.
correct.
Right, all right, ready, coming.
La 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 la.
Oh,
3,
okay.
not bad.
All right, ready, coming.
Time's up.
Where is it? I got it. Ah, yeah.
Okay, you got 3 out of 5, which is
What
more
does
than
that
half
mean?
of 5. That's not bad. But you know what? I think you should still go on down and bring the treats. What do you think?
So hang on, wait. I need to know. Did I win?
You didn't win, but you got more than half.
Okay, not bad. So you know what? Don't worry, guys. I will bring you a treat. You know, they really do need help. So if you want to be a volunteer, go to their Facebook page to find out how. www.facebook.com Soundball Singapore.
And you can also follow Sarah's progress on her Facebook page. We are going to end the show tonight, but you know what? We'll catch you again tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m., Channel 5.
Big thank you to all guests. Thank you, Sarah. Good luck.
Thank you.
Oh, that's table tennis, sorry.
That was really good. I thought you only get one.